Hello everyone, Coming Clean here. So yesterday, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge released, and I haven't really talked about it on my channel. The game did have a huge hype surrounding it, and I did grow up loving the Turtles, so I had to check it out on release with a friend. It was surprising to me how such a simple concept ended up being so much fun. We ended up having such a great time that I felt that I needed to make a video about my first impressions of the game. Let's get right into it. The Turtles are a pop cultural phenomenon, and they are associated with numerous TV shows, comic books, toys and video games. They are, however, not exactly at their pinnacle of popularity right now, so just a brief explanation if you haven't heard about them before. It depends a little bit on which iteration we are talking about, but commonly, 4 turtles got into contact with a substance called mutagen, which turns animals into bigger, sentient versions of themselves. In true superhero logic, mutagen can also turn people into human-sized animals for some reason, which is exactly what happened to the martial arts master Splinter, who now takes the form of a huge rat. He adopted the turtles, taught them martial arts, and named them after his favorite Renaissance artists, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael and Michelangelo. Now, all of them fight against the evil Shredder and his Foot Clan to save New York City alongside their friend April. Shredder's Revenge is a spiritual successor to a classic game of the 90s called Turtles in Time, released for several consoles and in the arcades. The game is a retro-styled side-scrolling beat-em-up, just like many games were back then. I played through a couple of levels with fellow YouTuber Poppa H, whose channel you'll find a link to in the description. We both grew up with video games similar to Shredder's Revenge, and it tickles a nostalgic nerve for sure. The basic premise of the game is that you move from left to right and beat up baddies as the level progresses until you reach a boss at the end. If it sounds simple, it's because it is. One of the weaknesses of beat-em-ups of old is that they are repetitive and have way too simple control schemes. I would say that even though I really enjoyed Shredder's Revenge, it does occasionally fall into the same trap. I am, however, not saying that the developer didn't go the extra mile to adapt the game to the current day and age in many different ways. Even the first few levels that we played had great enemy variety, and different strategies were required even on the medium difficulty. Speaking of that, even though the moveset of each of the playable characters weren't all that complex, they certainly have enough moves at their disposal to keep things from becoming too stale. There's a tutorial in the game that showcases all the available moves, and they also added a context to teach you at which occasions which moves should be used. We are talking basic combos, dodge attacks, grabs and throws, shuriken-style uppercuts, special moves and more. In a pick-up-and-play friendly game like this, I would say that the game provides all you need from a gameplay perspective. Regardless of if you're up against a shielded Foot Clan ninja, stampeding rats or a flying robotic creature, the game constantly encourages you to dig in your bag of tricks to use the best strategy for any given situation. The dodge has a generous amount of invincibility frames and will often get you out of sticky situations, but certain bosses will for sure challenge you to time the execution of it, or you will surely get pummeled. All playable characters control very similarly, with slight variations, like for example Mikey, who is the only character that can bounce off enemies with his aerial attack. Another common trait of classic beat-em-ups is that they are adapted to the arcades, meaning you're supposed to play from beginning to end in one single session. While you can play Shredder's Revenge in arcade mode that limits your lives and continues, the game also adapts to modern times with a story mode. Here you can select your levels from a map, level up your characters and play as many or as few levels in a sitting as you please. Poppa H and me only tried out the arcade mode though. Shredder's Revenge pays homage to the classic cartoon that aired in the end of the 80s, which there is a significant chance that many gamers of today have missed. That means that quite a few Easter eggs will go straight above many players' heads, but I can't really see this being a big issue, since the beautifully made animations and backgrounds and general attention to detail is enough to please anyone. There is plenty more to say about this game, but this will do it for my first impressions. I encourage you to check out a review or two about Shredder's Revenge if you find the game interesting. The game is currently, until the end of June, on a 10% discount on several major platforms and costs around $25 depending on your region. One last thing, since the game supports up to 6 players online, this is the perfect game for me to play with you, my viewers, during a live stream. If that is something that would interest you, please let me know in the comments. Also, feel free to share your thoughts about the game if you have bought it too. That is, however, it for this video. Remember to subscribe for weekly gaming content. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Coming Clean and I will see you next time. Take care!